welcome to the third quarter of the BOBBY003 show, along with my sidekick, Andrew.
Good morning.
And we have some more pictures to show people, and we also have a few things to talk about. And of course, one of the events that's taken place a whole week long is the impact that the Beatles had on music around the world.
50 years ago on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Ed Sullivan Show, and I remembered watching that. That was my time, and we had 3 TV stations you could watch back in those days, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And if my memory serves me right, CBS had that had the Ed Sullivan Show.
Would be right.
And he also had Elvis Presley. And the Beatles, we know they came from England, and we know all of that. They came here as musicians, but what we've learned during this past week and 2-week period, and of course people like you that are into music have been knowing it, that they have used a lot of our Louisiana-based music out of the Shreveport, Mississippi, Delta
blues
type music. And
Sure.
It's pretty interesting that never came out in recent years. But they've brought, I see right here, Louisiana impacted the Beatles. And of course, I mentioned that to you and Matt LeBlanc, and y'all started naming the, and
Lead Belly, of course, being
you brought Lead Belly
the blues, old black blues musician, one of the very first musicians that when tapes started happening and records started happening, they were recording him. And the Beatles had access to a lot of these records as kids growing up and influenced their music.
Yep, very interesting. And of course, John Lennon, I always had a soft heart for him, because one of his donations that he made on a regular basis, and possibly his estate is still doing it, was to the New York Foundling Hospital, where the orphan train riders like my father came down from New York City. He donated to that. That was one of his donations.
And Lennon lived somewhere in that area whenever he passed away.
Right. So roots not only there, but goes back to my daddy.
Deep roots
where he came from.
We've got this coming up. You know, the court-appointed special advocates to help kids and all. They're based out of St. Landry Parish, and they have their big fundraisers coming up. The big one right now is the po' boy sale that they do, a sausage po' boy with chips and a soda for only $6. The sale is on February 28th. If you're interested in getting a po' boy on that day, please give a call. Madeline Rosette is the administrator there. You can reach her at 948-4751. Great calls. You can get these po' boys right there in Opelousas. It's a good thing to get for a lunchtime meal on a Friday. You can treat your whole office. That's what I like to buy, a whole bunch of these tickets and try to treat my whole office to it. But for Casa of St. Landry, give them a holler. We got a nice note from our good friend Cindy Noel. Good morning, Cindy. February 28th.
We've had some real cold weather, and of course Tuesday night we had sleet. Some people call it hail, and a lot of rain, and a lot of electrical problems. I know Vicky called me, and their service went off early on Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning it was still not on. And she had just signed up for the service where Clico, you can give them your name, your cell number, or I guess your phone number, and they'll notify you in the event of a outage and give you an approximate time. Well, this kept getting later and later and later. It was a lot worse than what was first anticipated. And what I'm really bringing up right here is it reminded me, I didn't see her, but I heard Liz Duhan with Gulf, used to be with Gulf State.
Entergy now.
Nah, it's Entergy. Liz Duhan was being interviewed, and it reminded me of Liz Duhan and Tom Smoke, who also worked for Gulf States. And they worked with me, and I allowed them to sue our company one time because they needed to have some witnesses to verify what their rates were and all of that. And they won the case, and they brought me a nice big treat of candies and goods and all that kind of good stuff, a gift package. And so
they needed a court precedent for something they were trying to get to pass.
I don't know where Tom is anymore, but hello to Liz and Tom. They were real nice to all of us when they serviced our area.
But the north part of the state right now has got some trouble. Bunky and everything. I've talked to friends in that area. A lot of tree branches down, a lot of power lines down. You know, down here we don't have a lot of that problem because those hurricanes kind of solve that problem. They've knocked a lot of our little branches down, but when you get to the Bunky area in north, they don't get those hurricanes, so they've got a lot of those branches still. Yeah. And so the ice is causing the problem.
This will get...
Oh, it's going to clear it up now.
What's that funny name of that company that cuts trees?
Oh, man, yeah.
Kind of a yellow...
Asplunk?
Asplunk.
That's it.
Yep.
Ooh, it's a weird name for sure.
They're going to get a lot of business.
How about this? The historic Delta Theater here in Opelousas is on February 20th at 10 a.m. and at 7 p.m. They're going to have a show, the Cashore Marionettes. Now, I don't know a whole lot of details, but I know it's a bunch of these puppets, I guess, hand puppets, that they will, they're very well done, very articulate looking. Yeah, it's a big deal. We're lucky to get them to come to Opelousas. If you want to go by the Cashore Marionettes, it's going to be, what's that dates I said again?
February 20th.
February, is that what I said, February 20th? I did, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want to get tickets, go to deltagrandtheater.com or call 407-1806. Tell Tammy Lamani.
AM must be 7 p.m.
They're gonna do a 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. 10 a.m. 7 p.m.
Okay.
So you can give them a holler and you can go, and I believe it's $12 for adults, $10 for children. Good deal.
After 22 years, Jay Leno gives the Tonight Show his farewell, and of course,
his second farewell.
Yeah, he has some roots. He has a lot of toys, antique, valuable old cars,
and motorcycles.
And he had the firm in Westport, St. Mary, Westport. He had a firm there put a jet engine onto a motorcycle, and he rode it on the street in front of where they do his filming, and that's in Los Angeles. I always thought he was in New York, but I guess I would forget because I did hear it was Los Angeles, but I don't know, it's something, it's like a New York program.
Right.
And at one time, the original person would have been there. And the young man who took his place over is back in New York.
Yes, that's true, huh?
Yep. Anyhow, he, after 22 years, and of course, after about 50 or 60 years, Alton Broussard, the barber.
Yeah, Bruce Broussard.
Retired, and he, of course, was very active in local politics, and he was also very active in the civil rights movement of the 40s, well, the 50s and the 60s.
And not just here, he went where the heart of it was happening. In Alabama, where a lot of the big impact was happening, he went himself, interjected himself into some of the most dangerous areas.
We called each other neighbor because our office, his barbershop, and our Dupree Carrier Gotcha insurance office is across the street from each other. And just got to knowing him real well. I certainly wish him nothing but health and happiness in his retirement years. A young man has come in and taken over his practice.
Right.
And one of his last customers that he had was a friend of all of us in Opelousas, Mr. Garland Roberts, who died.
Literally, must have been a week after he closed the shop.
Yeah, right about that same time. So one of the last haircut that Garland Roberts received was shown in this article here, and of course it was also one of the last of Bruce's haircuts.
You and I, from time to time, we've had friends who've run for office that we've served on committees with to try to help promote folks, and Mr. Alton's been on a lot of those committees with
Well,
us
he
as
served
well.
on the police jury years ago.
See, he'd been
before your time.
very influential. Good guy to give advice. You know, when you're running these races, you got to have everybody in the mix to get a good feel. And Mr. Alton always has a good feel for, you know, this is what I'm seeing with my customers in my community.
Usually with the winners. He studied
he knows how to get with the right guy.
Well, he tried to pick someone that would do a good job for the community, and that's the whole idea of if you into anything else, if you're doing it for an ulterior motive,
they'll find you out fast.
Could end up in courtroom and in jail. So you know, Bruce always tried to pick good people, and thank God he picked me as one of his friends.
There you go. How about
me as one of his friends.
More photos. Let's go back over here. We got over at the Crawfish Grill. We've got Dr. and Mrs. Glowacki.
Yep,
We're over
Susie.
there having a little
and
lunch.
They're so nice. Susie, first thing she asked me is, "How's Megan doing?" And of course they're from New Orleans, and she's glad that Megan is over at Tulane.
And over here.
And Earl Broussard, Earl operated a very successful grocery store business, and I spoke about the Chambers family purchasing the store
the week before.
The
2
week
weeks
before.
Ago.
Pat Chambers rode with Randy and I over to Coach Dautreeve's induction into the Hall of Fame, High School Hall of Fame.
And we're over at the donut shop, Miss Sonia's donut shop.
Donut shop right here, and he said he's enjoying retirement years. So Earl, you certainly worked many long hours, but always very successful. And perennial sheriff's candidate, Mr. Jim Darby, having breakfast. And that must have been Friday morning.
It was interesting to hear a little bit about all the work you did in the New Orleans area and all the influence you had out of that end.
Oh, let me tell you, the first time he ran, he had signs all over, and I inquired. I asked him, we kind of grew up together in Opelousas, and I asked him, I said, where are you getting your money for all these signs? He says, I've got some friends that believe in me from New Orleans. He says, I worked up there for years, and we still have a close knit.
Interesting guy.
Yes, sir.
Definitely interesting.
And this is Miss Priscilla James, and my new friend, Marvin Gilroy, the house mover. Priscilla, of course, spoke about Bertha and Jean Labbe. She's a relative of Bertha's, Miss Bertha, who is deceased, and of course, Jean Labbe, my little buddy, that I was so close to, who's also deceased, 8808. It's easy to remember when he died.
I was surprised when I said, yeah, I go out there from time to time and clean up around the grave. She goes, really? You go? I said, oh, yeah, definitely go out there and
right.
check on my buddy. And we've got our other friend right here with
Glenn Ollier
with the 3 Mile Lake Association.
Yeah, and an electrical contractor.
And we've got the 3 Mile Lake annual meeting is going to be coming up the last Monday. That's at 6 p.m., February 24th. Go to the Opelousas General Health System. I guess it's Auditorium A, I think is what it's called, upstairs.
Upstairs, 3rd floor.
Come on by. You probably already got your invitation in the mail, the agenda, and all the whole 9 yards. Your annual dues are up, $100 annual due. You get the key to the new locks on the launch and everything. And keep maintaining that lake. Keep those lilies down.
And be prepared for maybe some high water. A lot of extreme amount of snow upstate, like we like to say, and that melted water, I guess 50–60% of it comes down the Mississippi River.
And we got Robert Buller right here speaking some of that melted water from the north end of the parish, who's got all those beautiful duck leases up there.
Farmland that he operates. Yep.
Well, folks, we got to take a 1-minute break. We're going to see you on the other side of 1 minute.